Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahawah, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Rakwakwadah. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and shalom to the mighty Akim Wagwathim, who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this final captivity. This is Brother Kawaka coming at you with another lesson. Today's lesson, we're going to be going into a comment that I got literally like a few minutes ago on this video I just did over here about demon attacks. I didn't do this video, whatever. Anyway, that's kind of crazy how I got a comment so quickly, like within the hour it got uploaded. But anyway, that's another thing altogether. Anyway, the person put his name is Facts Over Fear 9771. They said, few years ago, I felt an evil presence in my closet, and like an idiot, I opened the door to confront it. That spirit took me to the ground in 2 minutes, no joke. Now, my issue here with this is that he didn't really go into much detail. In this video that I did, I actually went in a bit of detail, like how did I resolve it and stuff like that. And just for the sake of edification, having more understanding on how exactly a demon will attack a person is definitely some useful information, as well as like certain things like what was the build up, or like why did you feel, like what did you feel in the moment, or did you feel like you got like tackled, or did you just feel like you were tripping, or did you feel like you were being weighed down by something, like all these types of potential possibilities and stuff like that. And obviously I guess one thing is that when it comes to typing, it's a lot harder to kind of like make these types of stuff out. It's harder to describe it if you're not like a proficient typer and whatnot, or good at proofreading, editing, drafting, and all that stuff. So obviously it's gonna come off a bit harder. And even when I go to it, when I went to his channel, he didn't necessarily or really go make a video about it to even further prove or further say this is what happened to me, X, Y, and Z. So this is basically all I have, and I wanted to talk about this because this is the thing in general, and this is not a rebuke video or anything like that. This is just more so to add on this whole demon attack thing. All right, because let me get this, the demon attack thing, because the issue with this is that this is a part of our walk in this truth, okay? And that reminds me of another precept that I want to get, okay? Sirach chapter 2 verse 1, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. Cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. And this is a very important thing, because we are constantly being built up in the spirit. And as I had mentioned in the videos, definitely go watch it. I'm not going to talk about it here. You can definitely go check that video out yourself. I think that's one of the well, actually, it's very recent. It's a very recent video. Anyway, yeah, you see the title right here. Anyway, the thing about that is how we are constantly being put through difficult situations and hardships and whatnot. So as a result of that, we have to be able to be patient, and it comes also in the times of demons getting on us, as well as understanding that different demons come in different shapes and forms and stuff like that, or in different or will try to attack you in different ways. Now, different there can be a demon on you, like a like something takes a lot of your time, or is like an addiction to you, something that might be considered an addiction. That could be a demon if it's not something that is productive or conducive to you building yourself up in the spirit. So that's where we need to have the self-control. That's where we have to have the self-control to be able to that's where we have to have the self-control to be able to stop ourselves, that when we're spending too much time on something that isn't the best for our spirit, all right. Now next, over here, verse 5, for gold is tried in the fire, and an acceptable man in the furnace of adversity. Okay, and this is another thing where we are going to be built up in the spirit. We're going to be pushed to made stronger, all right, through the spirit, all right. So as a result of that, we're going to be able to we're going to be able to handle stronger demons eventually, all right. As a matter of fact, this is something that I also showed in my previous lesson, which I'm going to get it now. Matthew chapter 17 verse 15. Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is lunatic and sore vexed, for oft times he falleth into the fire and oft into the water. And I brought him to thy disciples, and they could not cure him. So over here, the disciples were given the opportunity to cure a possessed person, all right, and the disciples weren't able to do it. Now, if we jump down over here to verse 19, then came the disciples to Yahawashi apart, and said, why could not we cast him out? And Yahawashi said unto them, because of your unbelief. For verily I say unto you, if ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. Verse 21, howbeit this kind goeth not out but by prayer and fasting. And basically Yahawashi was saying how some of the ways to remove demons, it requires prayer and fasting, but it also requires having more faith, which Yahawashi had way more faith. Okay, it's not even a comparison. Okay, way more faith compared to the disciples. Although that's not to say that the disciples were faithless or anything like that, or they were just some randoms. They were the disciples, so of course they had a lot of faith. But basically, what was trying to be illustrated was that you need even more faith for stronger demons. All right, and again, even then, like Slaki, I don't mean to. I'm not going to regurgitate the exact same points. So if you want to hear some certain points on this topic, you can go check the video out that I did. That video that the person replied to or made a comment in, because there's lots of good information in it as well. But basically, the main thing that I'm trying to get at is how, in general, Yahawashi had way more faith compared to the disciples, and the disciples do have a lot of faith, but there are going to be times when we need more faith, if not just prayer and fasting, to handle the stronger demons. And on top of that, for us, okay, this guy's comment actually reminded me of the fact that this is actually the norm. We are to expect it. This is the war that we are that we're faced with. Okay, so let's get this. Ephesians chapter 6 verse 12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Okay, and this is our enemy. This is the war that we're facing. We're not supposed to be facing no carnal war where we need to go get guns, we need to go get armor, breastplate, a sword, all that stuff. No, okay. Our war that we're fighting, it is spiritual. It's the spirit. It's the spirit. It's through the spirit. So there's going to be times when we're gonna have to face a demon attack or whatever the case. Okay, it's going to change oftenly. It's not tied down to it's not tied down to you only have to face what's it called, a smoking addiction demon, all right, or something like that. It says it comes in many different ways, and through the spirit and probably I'll show you, through your faith and through your prayer and fasting, which is that's I think that's a very big thing that people don't do. I honestly I don't know. I don't have any statistics. As a matter of fact, speaking of statistics, let me get that. Let me try to see ChatGPT, because I'm just curious right now. How many demons Okay, now here let's ask this question. What? Okay, let's ask this question. What percentage of the population prays? Okay, I want to say that the number has probably dropped. Over here, oh wow, they even have ethnic breakdowns as well. So this ChatGPT says, in the Pew Research Center analysis of 105 countries, 49% of adults say they pray every day. So almost 50, but still less than 50%. On average, though, this major regional differences. Sub-Saharan Africa, 75% of sub-Saharan Africa prays. Okay, understandable. Hamite / Ishmaelite, they are a religious lot. Middle Eastern / North Africa. Oh no, sub-Saharan Africa Hamites. Middle Eastern / North America Ishmaelite, 70%. That's actually crazy that Hamites pray more than Ishmael. Latin America, 62. Okay, I guess. And of course, what could you expect? Europe, less than 25. That is insane. Where's the Asia numbers? Statista confirms similar findings. Daily prayer is above, or I assume that it's probably less in these other ones. I have to say Asia. I imagine that they don't. Sir Major has been recorded in the Twitter space saying that he is responsible for Wadi Spot not being on the app. Sir Major chose a Somali woman by the name of Iman over the FDA. Okay, well, I guess it's probably a book that I have to buy, but I'm not going to buy it. Anyway, Statista confirms similar findings. Daily prayer is above 80% in many African and Middle Eastern countries, ranges 60 to 80% in India, Pakistan, Latin America, but falls to 10% in many Western European nations. I don't know why they leave out the Asians, but I guess they don't really. No, I'm pretty sure they have Buddhists or some shit like that. Anyway, in U.S. and Canada, 55% of Americans reported praying daily. That sounds like bullshit. Versus 25% of Canadians? That's how is there such a huge divide? What is that? Within the US, about 55 overall adults pray daily. Among Christians, that rises to 84. So 16%, about 16% of Christians do not pray daily. Okay, so that's crazy. Anyway, Pew noted a decline of U.S. daily prayer from 58 in 2007 to 45 in 2021. That's not that big of a drop. I was expecting more, so I guess that is a sure. But these are some. This is just some information. I thought it was kind of interesting to note, and that's the thing. Even though it isn't that big of a drop, still, I think it's important to note that. Well, Slocky, because even then, even when people pray, people pray oftentimes pray to different gods. They pray to the Muslim gods and stuff like that. Jesus Christos and all that stuff. Like they're praying to other gods, and even then they are. It's like like there's still that evil tied into it, I guess, for lack of a better term. Okay, because they're not returning to YAHAWASHI. Okay, now. Wait, whoa, okay, well, that's just surprising. So, Christians, religious variations, Christians, around 61% of U.S. Christian women pray daily, I'm assuming, and 51% of U.S. Christian men pray daily. So, surprisingly, there's more women that pray, Christian women that pray, compared to Christian men. I am kind of surprised at that. Religious underaffiliated, much lower, so 13% or 8%, 13% in America, 8% globally. So yeah, like that's another thing where oftentimes when you're not praying to Yahweh specifically, then you're leaving yourself more susceptible to demons, and that with the decline in people's desire to want to pray in general or pray at all right, of course there's going to be more people that are going to be more violent, more or evil and stuff like that. Okay, things have not been getting any easier. All right, we've seen more evil intent and more maliciousness. All right, I think that's it. Anyway, continuing on. Okay, actually, I'm curious. What other countries I'm missing? South America? No, they said Latin America already. Indonesia? Damn! Indonesia! 95%! Malaysia? Okay, yeah, I heard Indonesia. Well, not Indonesia, but I heard Malaysia is a Muslim country. Yeah, this is expected. 20% in basic in all three of them. 14 over here, 20 to 30. 20. See. Afghanistan, yeah, I already saw that. Iran, 90. And hey, Slocky, let me watch my. Let me stop. Quit while I'm ahead. But yeah, let's continue. Let's go back. Matthew 26 verse 41. Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. Spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. And, once again, going back into it, our spirit is going to be willing to face whatever troubles, whatever hardships and whatnot. But our flesh, we're going to say, "Oh no, I'm tired. I don't want to do this. I'm this. I'm that. Like it's hard. I'm suffering. It's like things are not looking good." Or whatever, and as a result of that, it's for us to fight our flesh in the sense of sticking through any and all of those hardships. All right, and this is where the fights between the demons, come to play. Asking as well as just asking the Lord for strength, praying to the Lord. And that's the power of prayer. That's also the importance of prayer, especially when it comes to enduring. You're not going to save yourself. Okay, you're not going to be able to make it by yourself. You're not going to be able to revolutionize. Jake freaking got himself out of here. No, the Lord didn't make that. The Lord wants you to rely on Him, and you have so many people, as per these statistics, all right, that just don't care about where the frick is the. Hold on. What percent? I don't know why I didn't see that. I forgot. But anyway, yeah. We're supposed to be heavily relying on YAHAWASHI, and you have a whole bunch of people that just don't bother. All right. But yeah, over here, 63% of Black Americans pray daily. 44%. Oh, so this is no. Wait, what? Okay, never mind. Slovakia. Among these, 73% Protestants pray daily, as do 59% of Black Catholics. Even Black Americans with no religious affiliation still praying. So they don't. Okay, well, actually, I did hear about that. There's a lot of Black Americans. That's actually a very big percent, given that they claim no religious affiliation. All right, but yeah, that's very interesting. Breakdown by gender: 60% of Black women pray daily, 40% of Black men do. So roughly 6 in 10 engage in daily prayer. Black Canadians, 69% identify as Christian, 12 Muslim, and 18 no religion. National statistics that show that 20% of Canadians, 10%, with 10% praying several times a week. Immigrants. All right, so yeah, I don't know what it is about Canada, but apparently Canadians don't like praying, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's something that's to do with their affiliation or something like that. Because I think Canada is more liberal or something. Or is it the other way around? I don't remember. Anyway, given that. Alright, so yeah, that's basically it's lucky. Anyway, yeah, basically you get that. So, yeah, like there is that need for heavy reliance on YAHAWASHI that people are failing to do, and that's the thing. Like we're supposed to be focusing and relying on YAHAWASHI, but so many people, so many of our people, all right, they're not. But even then, they don't. I guess they might not have and also I think it's like they don't have really that mindset or that what's it called, desire, all right, because they think negatively. Maybe they think, oh, well, I don't want to be associated with this or Christianity anymore, because of course there was a big drop in Christianity. People are there's lots of less Christians now, so that might be attributed to that. All right, and there's no Hebrew Israelite statistics in this survey. So continuing on, 2 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 4, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal but mighty through Yahweh to the pulling down of strongholds. And that's basically another thing where our warfare, the war that we're facing, it is not carnal, it's spiritual. So we have to be able to endure the spiritual fight and constantly, make it through these things. Ephesians chapter 6 verse 16, above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. This is a very important thing where, again, the shield of faith is what's going to be the thing that protects us, okay? Faith is going to be faith is also what helps us be able to, have more authority over these demons, especially through the example that Yahawashi had shown us, okay? He said, because of your unbelief, for verily I say unto you, if ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed, you shall say unto his. Well, basically, he's basically trying to convey that if you had more faith, then you would have been able to get rid of that demon. I wouldn't have had to step in. All right, so it's through faith that you're going to be able to have power over these stronger demons. Okay, 2 Corinthians 4 verse 16, for which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. Okay, so that's another thing where the inner man is going to be renewed, meaning the spiritual man is going to be able to constantly endure, constantly say, okay, I know yesterday was a bad day, but you know what, we're just going to keep on going. I know that today's a bad day, I'm going to keep on going. I know tomorrow's probably going to be a bad day, but we're still just going to trust in the Lord, wait on the Lord to handle all of it, just as we're waiting for the Lord to handle our captivity. So with that, I pray the system was edifying. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahawah, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi, Ba'ashem, Rukwakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, Abad, and Shalom.